Part of this job is knowing how to dress so you can be mic'd up. Yes, and I also would like to comment on what you just said. Is sometimes it would be good to read the objectives of the speeches beforehand. Fidel, you really did a great job. I felt like I was at that festival. This was a very dramatic speech, and you were supposed to be dramatic and entertaining. Bring us into your world of a fiesta and how to survive it. You kind of look like you didn't, but all joking aside, you didn't let that temporary obstacle inhibit you in any way from giving a good speech. You overcame that, so I was pretty impressed with that. You described it very well. You talked about I could smell the cooking and how every house cooked. Visual images like the gigantes and the processions. And you also pulled us into the culture. You know, someone could go visit the Philippines and attend a fiesta, but they wouldn't have that insider knowledge that you had. And so you talked about the etiquette and the little in-joke. 2-day Catholic, I thought was Easter and Christmas. I'd never heard it explained that way. I thought that was pretty funny. You added a lot. You did singing, you did dancing, you moved around. It really felt great. One small point was it's supposed to have a dramatic climax, and actually it ended with the children in the games. And I was feeling a bit queasy in there when you're talking about how to get away without drinking or eating too much at each house. And it's like, okay, I could almost feel that feeling you get when you go to some huge fiesta like that. And I could just picture the next day everybody was pretty hungover. They were just exhausted from cooking, and so it was kind of a quiet ending, but it seemed appropriate at the same time. I really wasn't ready for any more excitement. So you gave us a good insight into the culture, but for more specific examples, I'd like to call on our evaluators. I think I'll change it up this time and ask Maureen to come up first and give a content evaluation.
Thank you. Fidel, knowing you grew up in the Philippines, and I have actually visited the Philippines, I was intrigued by what you had to say and how you were going to let us know how to survive a fiesta. One of the first things that I was amazed at is how he pulled in statistics of how many fiestas could actually happen in 1 year throughout the Philippines. I was like, whoa, amazing. It was so well organized. But what I missed, and I don't know if anyone else did, is a personal story. How you survived these fiestas. You gave us some tips, just like was mentioned, but it would have been nice to hear about a story. And even the closing, to be able to have, this is how I survived by da-da-da-da, and I hope you can too the next time you're in the Philippines, but add a little story, personal story for, you know, some of those aspects that you talked about, and then close with a bang that we all want to go to the Philippines and experience and survive the fiesta in the Philippines. Thank you so much. It was intriguing and exciting. Bye-bye.
Jim Briggs.
Yeah, just a couple of things. The whole talk was about surviving the fiesta, and you started off with a bang. Food, told us not to eat too much. Drinks, don't drink too much. And then you went on and described the fiesta. I don't think there were any more survival tips, but that's okay, because the best part of it was the description, as has been said already, of what it was like. It made us really feel there. One other thing, I kept wondering until about the middle of the speech, what are they celebrating? Finally, you said it was religious reasons. I didn't pick that up until a little bit later. You might want to just move that up, that's all.
Okay, for verbal evaluations, I'd like to hear first from Krista, please. If you would.
I thought your word enunciation was really good. Sometimes people with accents are hard for me to understand, but you spoke really clearly and slowly for me, so I understood it all very well. Your word usage, I thought you used really good adjectives to describe the Filipinos and the fiestas. The only thing I would suggest improvement on is a little bit more vocal variety, but the singing parts added a lot of that also. And I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Lloyd?
Fidel, for me, the most noteworthy attribute of your verbal performance was the way you projected your voice so well. There's a vast and important difference between being loud and projecting well, and you were perfect, absolutely perfect. Even when you did things like the singing, for example, which could have become overpowering, you did not. This is kind of an odd little room to speak in. It's wide but not very deep, and so it would have been easy to overpower the room, and you did not. It was absolutely perfect in that regard.
And Doug?
Better hold that, because I tend to go this way when I speak. Fidel, excellent gestures. I thought that when you got up here, you really know how to emphasize your points and your words through your gestures. Your eye contact, I use that term loosely. Your eye contact was great, considering the handicap I have in the pack. I know it had to be difficult to try to reach everyone in the room, but you worked at that very well. Your dancing, to add impact, was excellent. It really added a lot of flavor to your speech, and it just gave it some energy.
Well, Fidel, just in conclusion, I'd like to say, Louise. Oh, I'm sorry, Louise. I started backwards. I'm sorry.
Fidel, and we're talking about your visual. I find your manner of talking and looking at everyone very, very engaging and warm, and your sense of humor is unparalleled. I really look forward to your speech. One of the couple things is that and the other thing is you don't use any notes, and it just all flows out. I'm very envious of that. One thing that you might do is, since it's a dramatic speech, for the finale, you could have done a little cha-cha for us, and put another dance sequence at the end to give us all a taste of what it might be like to dance through the streets of the Philippines.
Well, Fidel, I have to say the best part was your imitation of a drunk singing, because it's exactly how they sound. The one note is perfect. Mr. Toast.